Stay here one more time. I need you. One more time. Stay here one more time. I need you. One more time.
Let's get in the video. Hello adventurers, and welcome back to another video of Adventure Josh. In this video, I have finally hit 1,500 miles on my Ibex 450, and today we're going to do the honest review of what I think about this bike. Let's get into it. The first topic we're going to talk about is why I bought the Ibex 450. Now, the first thing is affordability. You know, I'm not balling, and that's why I wanted to buy a bike that was reasonable for my pockets, and we paid $6,400 out the door for this bike. And as you can see, it's a full-size ADV bike, and honestly, I mean, what you get is a really good price for $6,400. Now, take a note that my previous bike was KLR. It is a 650, however, it is a single cylinder and it didn't have a 6 gear. So this is a really big upgrade. Even though it is a 450, I'm extremely happy with the upgrade that I chose to do. So the next reason why I bought this Ibex 450 is honestly the look of it. I love the look of this bike. I love the gray to the black. I just think it looks very sleek. It really looks really smooth. It's nice. I like the feel of it too. When I sit on the bike, I don't feel cramped. I am a 6'3" rider, and when I sit on this bike, honestly, I feel like I'm sitting in a car. All right, adventure. So we're going to go ahead and get into the next topic, and that's going to be pretty much my experience with this bike. That's riding on highways, going off-road, and pretty much anything else that I do with it. When we talk about the highways, the one thing I will say about this bike, stock is not really good. The reason is because it is a 14.2 sprocket in the front, so that makes it where the RPMs are kind of high, especially at high speeds. Now, what I did for myself, I upgraded to a 15.2 sprocket, and that honestly made this bike night and day different. It's way better on the highways, which honestly I love about it, is because it just feels like it wants to go. No matter what gear you're in, you feel like the power is endless to this bike, and that's one thing I really do like about it. Now, my next experience, especially when it comes to off-roading, this bike is a beast when it comes to off-roading, especially with the 14 tooth. That's the one thing that has to come up over the 15 tooth, is the 14 tooth has so much torque. So it's amazing when it comes to the off-roading. I've seen so many people take this bike off-road and they have an amazing experience with it. Now, I am a 70-30 rider, meaning 70% paved, 30% off-road, but I have taken it off-road. I've taken it on fire roads, gravel roads, a little bit of dirt roads, and honestly, it's held up so much. I mean, especially with the off-road setting that you can put into gear. Pretty much you put it into neutral and then you can set it into the off-road mode. And honestly, it makes a big difference. It's pretty much taking the ABS off, and it makes it where you're not pretty much sliding around or anything. It just feels like the whole bike has better control. Now, when it comes to the 1,500 miles, my experience with this bike is even better what it was when I first came in. Now, when we talk about the 1,500 mile experience, I mean, honestly, when I first got the bike and when I first rode it, it did feel kind of rugged. It's just because the parts were actually working in, the oil's working in and everything. That's kind of normal when you're in the braking period. However, we've hit over 1,500 miles on this bike, and I will say it has changed in a good way. It's gotten so much smoother, especially with the gear changing and everything. I feel like the gas mileage has gotten better and all. Can't say anything bad that's changed on this bike. It's been honestly a really good experience, and I can just see it getting better from here. All right, adventure. So we're going to get into the next topic, and that's pretty much going to be what I love about the Ibex 450. Now, the first thing is I have to talk about the motor. This motor is so reliable. Every time I swing my leg over it, I feel like it's never going to break down on me. There's nothing going to go wrong with this bike, and that is honestly a peace of mind when it comes to me. Now, the second thing is the power that this motor gives out is amazing, especially for not only highway riding and switching lanes or taking on cars, trying to get in front of them, but also doing the off-roading aspect of it. I am a 6'3" rider, and I am 300 pounds, and not only is it pulling me, but it's also pulling my fiance as well. Yeah, she might be 5'3" and all, but you know, she's still, you know, a lot of Alrighty guys, so sorry about that. But yeah, like I said, she might be 5'3" and all, but I mean, you're talking 400 pounds that is sitting on this bike. And that's not even including our gear, not the top box, the side boxes, and whatever extra gear that we bring with us, especially Rocky. Rocky is, I would say, 12-pound dog. And you know, this engine just feels like it can pull and pull and pull. And I feel like that is a really important thing when it comes to an ADV bike. Now, the next thing I do love about my Ibex is pretty much the comfort of the bike. This bike is super comfortable. And we're talking stock. I'm not talking about my upgraded seat. Yes, the seat definitely helped a lot, but when it comes to the average rider, especially not my height and all, this bike is extremely comfortable. I mean, the upright sitting position that you sit on this bike, especially for long hauls, I feel like you can go about probably max 5 hours on this bike, or even more depending on your experience. But I feel like I can really pull 5 hours of riding on this bike without stopping, and that's just the comfortability that I feel for it. And I'm a heavy guy. Now, upgrading the seat was a big thing that I needed to do, just because it lifted me up more, because yes, my legs were, the triangle that my leg made when I sat on this bike was extremely tight, but now it's more loose and everything. So that's one thing I have to say. The comfortability of this bike is just something that you're definitely going to experience when you throw your leg over this bike. Now, the next thing I got to say that I love about this bike is the technology that comes with it. The first one, I have to say, it is going to be the tracking on this bike. The tracker that's actually built inside the Ibex 450 is amazing. It comes with an app that you can actually use on your phone, and you can actually see where your bike is. And not only that, if somebody goes to my bike and they just touch it just slightly, it literally alarms to my phone and lets me know that somebody is near your bike or your bike has moved slightly. Now, the tracking is very accurate. If somebody wants to steal my bike, I can pretty much see it in live of where it's going while it's riding, or somebody has picked it up, which I think is extremely important to keeping your bike safe. Now, the next thing of the technology I would have to say is going to be the intercom that's actually built into this bike. You are able to connect two helmets, which I think is amazing. Not only two helmets, but you can connect one phone. So that makes it where you can actually talk to your partner that's actually sitting on the back, or maybe you're, someone that you're taking with you on the trip, pretty much communicate with each other, but they can also hear the GPS coordinates on where you need to go, especially if you're not really paying attention and your other person said that you need to turn right in maybe 3 miles, they can let you know. So I think that's extremely important, and I really do like that feature that comes with this bike. Now, the next thing when it comes to technology, the one thing I really do love is the control system. The control system sits in your left hand, and it honestly is everything that you need. Your horn, changing for your turn signals, and also just changing the menu. I mean, going from your music to your audio to adjusting the volume and everything, it's pretty much all in your left hand. And I really do like that a lot, because it makes it just a lot easier on the rider, especially having to pay attention to the road or the surroundings and everything. Now, when I have to talk about the controls, you also do have a control that literally sits right next to the control system, which is pretty much your ABS mode. This is really cool, and I do love it about the bike, because you can pretty much stop or you can do it on the go. I know some people say with the Ibex 450 you can do it on the go. However, I have some trouble with that. I do have to pull over, put it in neutral, and then put it in off-road mode. I think having that mode is extremely amazing when it comes to an ADV bike, because honestly, you might get to a predicament where you're on a highway and then your route takes you to a gravel road or even a dirt road, and you pretty much want to put it on off-road mode. It's just as quick as just pulling over, put it in neutral, and then just holding the ABS button for about 5 seconds until the off-road symbol comes on. Now, the one thing I really, really do love when it comes to the technology is I love my music, especially on long hauls when we're doing an hour, 2 hour ride on this bike. I love listening to music, especially with my partner. She likes to dance and sing and everything. So I think that's one thing that I do like when it comes to the controls, is that you can actually control your Spotify from the controls and actually switch from song to song. So I think that's really important. It just keeps the vibes going, especially on a long road trip and everything. So that's one of the things I really do love about this technology. Now, the next thing that I really do love about this bike is the handling of the Ibex 450. I do a lot of highway riding, and I do a lot of back road riding as well. Now, this bike can really handle curvy roads. I mean, when I hit the curvy roads, I don't feel like the tires are going to slip. I don't feel like the bike is going away from me or anything. I just feel like we're pretty much just stuck to the ground. And that's something that I really do like about this bike, because I feel like if I do need to switch lanes or try to pretty much dodge an object that's in the road, I feel like I can really do it with this bike. It's so nimble when it comes to pretty much changing your direction and everything. Now, when we talk about the off-road handling for me, especially as a 30% off-road rider, I will say from my experience, I've pretty much done back roads, dirt roads, gravel roads, and also fire roads. And honestly, I feel like the handling on this bike has been amazing. I haven't felt like, especially with my fiance on the back and all our gear, that's a lot of weight to be carrying, especially on an off-road road. I feel like it's handling it pretty well. We pretty much put it into the off-road setting, and then it's pretty much on the go there. Now, when we're going off-road, we're not going about 45 miles an hour or 50 miles an hour. I feel like the roads in Arkansas are pretty loose, but as the loose dirt and the loose gravel that we have here in Arkansas, I have to say the handling is pretty amazing. Now, the next thing that I really do love about this Ibex is the suspension. When it comes to the rear suspension, this thing has shocked me so much. I mean, this is factory. We haven't changed it at all. I mean, the only thing I really did to this shock was just added preload to it just to hold more weight or have the bike sit a little bit higher because we do have a lot more weight. But me being 300 pounds plus my fiance, that's 400. And then you have Rocky, which is 12 pounds and all our extra gear. I mean, this bike doesn't bottom out at all. Yeah, we're not going off road and we're not hitting jumps and everything, but on the highway and hitting bumps and going up on curbs and everything, if we need to, it doesn't bottom out. And I think that is extremely impressive when it comes to a stock rear shock. And not even that, I mean, we're talking about the front shock as well. This is extremely impressive front shock. I mean, I've added a little bit of preload, and that's just to actually balance out the bike, because I did put preload on the rear. I didn't want the bike to feel like it was nosediving, so I did put a little bit more preload in the front. But I gotta say, my fiance says it's like riding in a car. She rides on the back with all our gear and everything, and honestly, as the rider or the driver, I don't feel bumps at all. I mean, we've hit big bumps, we've went up on the curbs and everything, and it honestly just feels like you're riding on a cloud. Now, one of the things that I do love about the Ibex 450 is the headlights and the turn signals, and even the brake light. Every light that is on this bike is super bright. Yeah, they're all LED, but I mean, I have some cars that flick their lights at me when I'm ongoing to them because they think I have my headlights on or my brights on, and I really don't. The headlights that come on this bike is extremely bright, and I think that's extremely important for people that go off-road, especially if they get to a point where if you're getting to your destination a little late and you have to ride at night and you're on a dirt road, I feel like you can see everything, especially with the brights on. Now, when it comes to the turn signals, I feel like they're super bright. They flash everything, so people can pretty much see where you're going when you're about to make your turn. And then when it comes to the rear light is super bright, and I think that is probably one of the most important things when it comes to a bike, is pretty much having a tail light that is super bright, because none of us riders want to get rear-ended. So that's really nice to have, is having that really bright LED light back there. And that's just one thing I really do love about this bike. Alrighty guys, so that's pretty much what I love about the Ibex 450. Now we're going to get into what I don't like about this bike. Now, the first thing that I really don't like about this bike is honestly that it doesn't come with Moto Play. Now, yes, I did already go ahead and put a CarPlay on my bike and everything, and I pretty much fixed that. But when I first got the bike, this bike did promote Moto Play. So when you download the app and all, Moto Play is sitting there with a QR code. And pretty much what Moto Play is pretty much allowing you to use your GPS on your phone to go through the actual built-in tablet that's on the actual bike. So I think that's a really downfall, that they don't allow people in the US to use that. Maybe it's just a protocol that they have or some policy. However, you know, they do promote it. So I feel like if it's something that they promote, they should honestly let us use on the bike. Now, when it comes into the second thing that I really dislike about the bike is the stock seat. Now, I know that's more of a personal dislike just because I'm 6'3", 300-pound man, but I will say that seat is extremely uncomfortable. I mean, especially for a tall rider. I mean, the big dip inside of the seat, especially in this location, is just extreme. It's almost like you're sitting on the frame of the bike, and it's really uncomfortable. So that's why I really like to promote to people, if you do want to upgrade something on your bike, the number one thing you should upgrade is pretty much the seat. Now, the third thing that I got to say, the one thing I did not like at all, well, I just felt like it wasn't what it was supposed to be, and that's going to be the front windshield. The windshield was so small. I mean, this windshield wasn't even a windshield that came with the bike. It was pretty much just like this small rectangle thing that they pretty much put on the front, just I guess for the design of the bike. However, that is going to be something, especially for somebody that is on the touring aspect of it and goes on long hauls. I definitely feel like you're going to have to need to really upgrade your windshield, especially so you don't have a lot of wind buffer in your helmet and all. So that's definitely one of the best things that I've done on this bike. But like I said, that's one thing I really did dislike, was the windshield. I mean, even on the highest setting that I had it on, it just felt like it wasn't blocking any wind at all. Now, when it gets into the reliability of this bike is extremely reliable. Now, my previous bike was a KLR, and if anybody that's been riding for years, you know what the KLR is. The KLR is unbeatable. It just doesn't die at all. And I have to say, this kind of sits next to the KLR for me. I mean, this bike feels like it's never going to break down, no matter where I go. I can go on a 30-minute trip, an hour trip, or even a 2-hour trip, or even more. But I just feel like every time I swing my leg over this bike and I go to hit the power button on this bike, I feel like it's going to crank up every single time. Now, when we get into the maintenance, talk about the Ibex 450, honestly, the only maintenance I've really done on this bike is honestly lubing my chain and cleaning my chain. And I've done a video already on me doing the first oil change on this bike. And in that video, you can pretty much see how easy it is to change your own oil. I mean, I didn't have a jack or any fancy tools or anything, and I was pretty much able to get the job done within like 30 minutes to 40 minutes. So changing and maintenance on this bike is extremely easy. It's beginner friendly for anybody. So if you've never owned a bike before and you're looking for a bike that is not only reliable for you, but honestly something that can be really, easy for you to work on, I definitely will go with the Ibex 450. Now, when it comes to the problems and issues of this bike, I have to be real with you. I'm not just making this up. I haven't had any issues with this bike whatsoever. And we're talking 1,500 miles on this bike. And, honestly, I just look at the odometer. It's actually 1,600 miles. But I think that's a lot of miles that you can put on a bike and just to see if anything breaks down or anything. And honestly, I haven't had anything go wrong with this bike. I mean, we're talking no flats, no bad batteries, no bad spark plugs or any electrical problems at all. I mean, everything on this bike has worked like it's supposed to be. And I think that is something that just makes you feel even more confident on taking this on a really big trip or something. Now we're going to be talking about pretty much the overall condition. I mean, I have put 1,500 miles on this bike to 1,600 miles. And I got to say, for this bike to have 1,500 miles to 1,600 miles, it has held up extremely well. I mean, like I said, 70-30 rider. I'm on the highway most of the time, but still being on highways, I do hit bumps. I do go for harsh curves and everything. And I do a little bit of off-roading here and there. And I got to say, a lot of people say when you get your first bike, make sure you check your bolts and everything after 1,000 miles. And I have checked my bolts, but I have to say nothing has really came loose on this bike. And that just makes me feel like really good. It feels like I got one of the items out of the factory that were built by somebody that really cared, because that's just one thing I really do care about a bike. I want something that's reliable and something that's going to keep me safe. So I'm extremely happy with this Ibex 450, and I feel like the condition that it is now after 1,500 miles is great. Alrighty guys, so we got into pretty much everything that I had to talk about when it came to the reliability and the maintenance. Now we're going to fall under my mods. I've put a lot of mods on this bike. I mean, anything from CarPlay to the top box to the side boxes and also the rack on the back. I mean, every mod that I have done has been extremely easy to pretty much build this bike out. And like I said, and that goes back to being a beginner. If you are somebody that's never built out a bike or pretty much put anything on a bike yourself, this bike is extremely beginner friendly. And I feel like any mods that you need to do to this bike is extremely easy, especially when it comes to the CarPlay. I mean, the wiring on the CarPlay, they already had an extra accessory output right where the seat was, and all you had to do is pretty much put the CarPlay straight to that. So like I said, this bike is pretty much ready to go when it comes to upgrades, and that's one thing I really do like about it. Now I do want to say though, if you do want to find more things about the mods that I did put on my Ibex 450, maybe you have an Ibex 450 at home, go check out my previous videos. I mean, there's so many videos on there where I talked about the top box, the side boxes, and the rear rack. I pretty much rated them and pretty much talked about what I thought about them, especially in the top 5 things that I upgraded on my Ibex. That's the first video that you should definitely go to and watch if you want to see the upgrades that I've done. Now my previous one, like my newest video, you can find where you can find the CarPlay. That's pretty much the install, the review of it, the unboxing and everything. So I just wanted to throw that out there for you guys. So if you did want to know more things about the mods, go check out my channel. Now when it gets into talking about the bike and everything, the number one question that I have to ask myself is the Ibex 450 worth $6,400? And I have to say yes, because the only thing is that I had a KLR previous to this and I paid $5,000 for this. So $6,400 out the door, that is extremely amazing for what you get for this bike. And honestly, I love my Ibex. I mean, the Ibex is extremely versatile. You're able to do highway, off-road, but you're able to work on it. And that's the most important thing. I mean, not a lot of people want to pay a lot of money for mechanics to work on their bikes. They kind of want to try to do it themselves. And I feel like it's a very beginner friendly bike when it comes to that. All right, so we're going to go ahead and get into the next topic of the final verdict. And that's going to be, would I buy this bike again? If I was walking around researching bikes and everything, but I pretty much have this knowledge that I have now for the Ibex 450, I would definitely say yes. I absolutely love my Ibex 450, and I'm not joking. This bike is amazing. It's probably one of the best bikes I've had or even ridden. It's just overall, the whole build of it just fits me as a person. I mean, me as like multiple hobby person, fishing, camping, going on trips and all. I just feel like this bike honestly just fits everything that I need when it comes to my type of riding. So that being said, we're going to get into the final topic, and that's going to be the overall rating of what I think about this bike. This bike is amazing. I can't say anything really more about it. I mean, this bike fits everything that I need, and if I had to give it a number, I would definitely say a 9.6 when it came to the Ibex 450. And a little bit of points taken off just because honestly, yeah, it is kind of picky, but the whole Moto Play. I mean, I did install a CarPlay, which I kind of, you know, I like that more than having the Moto Play, but I just feel like a lot of people are not going to be able to pretty much install CarPlay themselves. So that being said, having Moto Play on your dashboard, I mean, the dashboard is about 7 inches, and I've seen what the GPS looks like on this dashboard from the UK and everything, and I gotta say, it looks amazing. So I think that is something that where I took the points off, and it kind of makes sense of why I took points off, because it just makes sense for an ADV bike to be able to pretty much have your GPS on the dashboard. So 9.6 is a pretty good rating when it comes to an ADV, especially for me, because I mean, it fits every aspect that I need for the bike. With that being said, guys, I really hope you enjoyed this video and all. Like I said, this video is really important to me because honestly, I just want to put out the most important and raw information for you for the Ibex 450 and what I think about the Ibex 450, because maybe one day you'll buy it yourself and you really want to have some information to go off. With that being said, remember to like, comment, and subscribe. All the subscriptions really do help. We are a small channel, but we are growing, but we do appreciate all the subscribers that we do get. We are out of here. Peace out, guys. Bye.